PES TV. I'm Dr. Nick Young. We have with us today some year ones. We have Montel. Hi, Montel.
Hi, Nick.
We got Lewis. Hi, Lewis.
You alright?
So we've got some year ones along just to talk about their year one alternative experience placement. So, boys, you want to just start off and just say where you went for your placement and maybe where it was? Lewis, from yourself?
Yeah, so mine was back home in Bristol just for a local football side, one that I used to play for. I did football coaching for the last 4 or 5 years with them. I think they were an under 11s last year when I did it. But yeah, so I just carried on with what I was already doing, but I managed to get it taken down as placement hours.
Yeah. Montel?
Mine was at a school, St Tylos. It's a secondary school in Cardiff. I got it through an agency, and they were able to secure me that placement 24 hours period. So yeah, it was pretty decent.
And we were saying just before you got paid, which is nice.
Yeah, I got paid throughout the whole placement period. So yeah.
So that's important for you guys. They're looking for placements now. You can get paid, which is a nice perk. You know, that is allowed within the parameters as long as you've got somebody to sign your timesheet. So yeah, you can do exactly like Montel's done. You can get paid for it. So we'll start off with, how did you find your placement then? So Lewis, I'd imagine it's quite easy for you. If we start with Montel, how did you find your placement?
I thought it was fairly easy. Like the people that I was doing the placement with, they were very they bedded me in quite nicely. Like I had a couple of students that I was with on a one-on-one basis. So yeah, it was fairly simple, to be fair. I thought it was quite straightforward for the most part, anyway.
But in terms of how you found it, I mean, did you contact an agency? I mean, how did you come about that school?
I found it right. I lived with somebody who gave me the details of an agency, and I signed up through there, and I asked them about if I could do a placement, and they were like, yeah, sure, why not? So I was like, yeah, sweet.
Cool. Okay. Lewis, how about you?
Yeah, so I've just been doing the football coaching for a few years. The guy I do it with, he's kind of more in charge than I am, just because he has more qualifications, and I just said to him, would you be willing to kind of like sign it off and kind of help take photos of me in action, being able to kind of like use that for in my work. I did look at like other places as well. I looked at secondary schools and stuff just to kind of see what they'd offer. But as soon as I kind of was told that the football coaching would work, it was like a no-brainer. It's what I love doing. So definitely just kind of went through that.
That's a really good tip. I remember we had a chat last year about it, and it's just, you've got to think about the whole point of this alternative placement is for you to start to think about careers alternative to primary schools. Obviously, we want you guys to get jobs within primary schools if that's what you want to do. But there's so many different careers you can do now. And I know when we chatted, potentially coaching something that you want to continue.
Yeah, definitely.
So that can help with choosing an alternative placement. So we know a little bit about where you went. Can you tell us, what went well? Talk us through maybe a typical day for you, Montel. What did your days look like when you were in the comp?
I'd come in and they'd give me like a sheet of what I had to do, sort of like what children I'd be working with on that day. Towards the beginning of my placement, I only had, I think, 2 children throughout the day that I was on a one-on-one basis with, but I'd be in the classroom, and if they need any help, if they need any sort of guidance with what they were doing, I'd help them out. Normal, have a lunch time, and then go home pretty much. It was a normal 8:20 till 3 day as a normal teacher would do. So yeah, it was a fairly good experience.
Cool. Lewis, how about you? Because obviously you didn't have that same hours. How were your hours structured?
Yeah, so a lot of it was kind of like it was Friday evenings, doing about an hour to 2 hours of just football coaching. So we like plan the session in advance and then get to actually doing it. And then it was about Sunday afternoon, sometimes Sunday mornings for the kind of the actual match day that they used to do. But obviously there's not just that turning up and having them play a football game, there's so much like kind of educational aspect that goes into it. It's non-competitive at that age, so it's all how to improve and how to develop and how to better skills. And it would just be probably like 2 to 3 hours on a Sunday and then 1 to 2 hours on a Friday. And obviously because we had such a long period to get the hours done, I managed to accumulate enough.
Cool. What sort of challenges did you face, Montel? And did you have any challenges at all? Other than your internet going off then?
Oh yeah, like it was like when obviously I was first starting, it was fairly difficult, sort of like with children you don't know and they don't know you. It can be a little bit like not like nerve wracking. Well, I guess a bit nerve wracking. Like you're not used to them, they're not used to you. But yeah, just sort of if you follow the guidelines they give you and you go with what they advise, and like yeah, it's fairly simple after a while. You get the hang of it after like the first hour of doing it. It's fairly simple.
How about you, Lewis? Any challenges you met with?
I think a lot of it's just kind of like when you're doing something that you already are doing and then you start doing it involved with like your academic life, it's kind of just, I think, a lot of what I've learned, like I see more of it in my work experience, in my placement, because even though like it's what I do every week, I kind of had that this is my placement element in the back of my head. So where can I kind of include things that I've learned or just kind of take away things that I know are in my modules and stuff like that. And I think the only kind of challenges was just making sure I kind of was thinking about it on that term of this is my placement and where can I kind of see and relate my academic kind of work to the placement that of football coaching that I've been doing for so many years.
What do you think you learned most from the placement for both of you? Just Lewis, you want to say what do you think you learned from it?
I think like definitely because it was the idea of going away and seeing what outside of education and primarily like education kind of work opportunities there are. It gave me like a bit of a chance to look at that area and how easy football coaching is to take as a job. I kind of liked while I was doing it, I was thinking like, would I do this moving forward? And it was like, yeah, actually, definitely. And now I'm kind of in a position where I'm like, I'd love to be a primary teacher, but if I can go into football coaching or something like that, it would be like it's something that I'm constantly researching and constantly trying to check.
I'm really glad you said that because that's the whole point of this module is to sort of showcase to you there's so many different careers. You'll be hating me for this, but we've just partnered with Cardiff City Foundation, and for our new year ones coming through, there are careers now. There are a lot of careers in coaching, so they take kids really young into the academy. They still need to go to school, so there are teaching opportunities within the Cardiff City School. So there's so many different things that you can do within education to follow an interest. So for you, Lewis, it's football, it's sport. It might be for any of you that are watching this, it might be something else. But I think gone are the days where when I was training, it was just teaching you went into. Now there's so many different things you can do, and that's if you're thinking about anything that you think, oh, maybe I could do that. Use this time to explore that because there's so many different avenues you can go into. Montel, anything you learnt from it?
I think for me, obviously, because it's like so up and close and personal, like sort of seeing what the teacher's doing and hearing like how they are with the students. It's just like it was great insight to actually see it close, like so then I can make a informed decision when I finish the course of if I want to go down the teaching route. So it really helped me to see what I wanted to do, and obviously the teachers that helped me out with the process as well. It helped to get an insight behind the scenes sort of stuff.
How did you find secondary? It scares me. I've taught in secondary. They're all bigger than me. It wasn't for me. How did you find it?
It was all right. Like I was a bit sort of nervy with it, but like I think I'm not sure. I just think the kids like seeing new people, sort of thing. So like I got on with most of the children that I was with. But yeah, obviously I think primary school was more my sector, but I think secondary school was still quite good, and it opened the option up to me because I obviously did not want to try it out all before the placement, and after the placement I'm a bit more open to it now, so it helped me doing it.
Yeah, and there's loads of success stories of some of our graduates going on, and they were dead set, I want to be a primary teacher. They had this experience in year one and they've gone, oh, do you know what? Secondary wasn't that bad. We've had a lot of our students go on to pupil referral units, still working in the primary, but they're also working with secondary pupils as well. So use this as a bit of a springboard to look at other things. Thinking about, because one of the main things we're asked is, what can I do? Lewis has done sport coaching, you've done secondary. Thinking about some of your mates, have you got examples of anything that they did that was maybe different to a secondary school? What did your friends do? Any examples?
I think one that was quite, that I thought was really good, and it's something that I definitely need to look at over the next year or so, is doing placement or experience in like SRB or SEN kind of sectors, like schools that are built just for that. Because I think we've got a girl that's on our course on our year that went and did that and came back and actually spoke quite a lot about it and didn't want to do it at first, and we kind of put herself out of that comfort zone, and I think has really benefited. And I've kind of listened to that. It's not really something I'm comfortable with, but it's something that I'm definitely now looking at thinking that could be really beneficial moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. So, SRBs or special referral units, always there's acronyms in education. Pupil referral units, we've got really good contacts with those. So if you are looking to get into any of those, usually it's with pupils that have been taken out of mainstream schooling. It doesn't mean, stereotypically they're really naughty. Sometimes they're just really misunderstood and they've had different upbringing. So, and I think I know the student you were talking about, and they've completely transformed that what they want to do. They want to go into that now. So that's the whole point of this module. I'll just sort of finish on a few points. So obviously you had to fill in your timesheets. Did you have any problems filling your timesheets in?
Very simple.
No. Yeah, mine was quite straightforward, yeah.
And obviously you need to upload that. It's a minimum of 24 hours. I know most people did like a minimum, but they just carried on working there. How did you guys? Did you do more than that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just kept going. Just like once you're involved in something, it was kind of quite nice to just keep developing those skills and learning.
Any tips then for year ones that are doing year one placements? Anything that you wish you'd been told when you were at this stage looking?
Probably just chill with it. Like, it's really not as intense as it sounds, and it's not as demanding as it sounds. It's very informative. And it can be fun as well if obviously you're in the right areas. But yeah, it was enjoyable, and in my obviously I got paid, so it was a touch in all ways. Like, it's actually quite good. Like, I enjoyed it, so it's not scary.
Lewis, any top tips?
I'd say just enjoy it. Like, I think you're always going to be more passionate about something, and even if it's something, like I said, if it was a sector you're not too comfortable with, enjoy that you're learning, enjoy that's the moment you're kind of deciding on how you feel about it, and I think you'll be more passionate, and you always prefer doing something if you're going to try and enjoy it.
I think one of the main things we are asked about is, where can I do it? And people are nervous about picking up the phone and finding the placement. I think that's a really important part of placement, is actually, like finding a job, is contacting local organisations. Lewis, you've chosen somewhere you're already working, so start off in an easy place. Use agencies like Montel has. Speak to friends, family. Are they working in different settings? Start off there, but also don't be afraid to pick up the phone, send some emails, walk into secondary schools, go back to your old secondary schools. It's all going to be a really good experience, getting out of that comfort zone and just asking the question. That's a big part of placement. I think a lot of students maybe neglect. Cool. Thanks very much for your time. Hopefully there's been some top tips for you there, year one. Big thanks to Lewis, big thanks to Montel. See you soon, boys.
Cheers.
No worries.
Yeah.
See you later.